Hey everybody, it's Rob. I'm back. We're doing a Hack the Box walkthrough. This time we're doing a machine called Knife. It is a Linux machine rated as easy, and I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was actually fairly interesting. So you can see I am connected to Hack the Box's VPN, and I do have Knife spun up, and here's the IP address. The first thing that we did was to run an mmap scan. We did service version detection T4 aggressive on the most common ports because Hack the Box has just been slow. So it takes way too long to do a full port scan. And what came back was 22 and 80. So 80 looks like it's running Apache, and it's got some website called Emergent Medical Idea on it. Didn't really have much choice here. So the first thing that we did was go to the website. Now, I did all my normal enumeration. I even did some go busting. There wasn't too much. Where I started to make a little bit of progress is when I used Wappalyzer, which is a Firefox plugin. I could have got this information in a half a dozen ways, but Wappalyzer is great. If you don't use it, I would highly suggest you install that plugin if you use Firefox. It does a really good job of telling you all the underlying technologies that a website relies on. So I looked through some of these, and the one that stuck out to me a little bit was this PHP 8.1.0. I know they're up to at least 8.4 or 8.5 with PHP. So I said to myself, well, let's see if we can find anything in Searchsploit looking for PHP 8.1.0. And a couple of things did come back, but the one that looked the most promising was this one right here, which is 49933. So I have that pulled up here on the website. And this is remote code execution Python script, very simple. And I tried it out and it worked. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to download this code. We're going to open the folder. And we're going to create a folder called Knife. We're going to drag the exploit over there. And we're going to open it in mousepad. Now, the reason I put it in a folder is because it uses requests, which means you know the deal here. We're going to have to do a Python virtual environment. But like I said, this is about as short and sweet as you get when it comes to exploits. So what we're going to do is close this, open the terminal here, and we're going to do Python 3 TACM venv for the virtual environment module, and then we're going to name the environment .venv. Okay, now we need to install requests. So venv bin pip install requests. All right, now this is actually really simple the way that this exploit works. All you do is run it, and then you give it the full path to the or URL to the server. And it gives you a shell. Now the shell is going to be one of those really limited jacked up shells where you can't really do a whole lot. But once we get there, I'll show you what to do to get a better shell. So the way we need to run this exploit is .venv bin python 3. And if we run help, actually, there is no help. I think it just asks for the full URL of the website. So we're going to do HTTP, and I believe it's 10.129.69.222. Let's see what happens. All right, and there's your shell. So this exploit worked really well. The problem is it's one of these janky shells where you can't even, like if I try to change directories to home, I do an ls, I'm still in root. So I tried a bunch of one-liners from Payloads All the Things, but none of them worked. And I've noticed that in cases where that happens, I'm going to start a listener while we're talking here. My newfound favorite thing to try is this busybox. Now, I only discovered busybox not too long ago when I tried basically every shell in Payloads All the Things one-liner, and none of them worked for a particular machine I was trying to exploit. But now that I have this in my toolbox, I decided to give it a try, and it worked like a charm. So let's go back to our foothold. And if you're not familiar with busybox, it's a binary that is on most distributions of Linux, mostly embedded Linux, but it's like a Swiss Army type tool that you use with Netcat. And I find that when other shells don't work, busybox will work. So the way you run it is not too different than if you were just going to run Netcat. You just put busybox in front of it, and then you run a normal Netcat command like you normally would. And we're going to hit enter. And that, my friends, is a good sign. We're going to come over to our new shell. And then what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can upgrade our shell using a Python. And we're James at knife. Okay, perfect. So let's see what directory we're in. These machines have been very slow. I don't know what's going on with Hack-the-Box, but cd to get to our home directory. And then if we do an ls, there's user.txt. So let's cat user.txt, and there's the user flag. Now, we can do our normal Linux enumeration. Let's see if there's any other users in home. I don't remember, to be honest. No, looks like it's just James. So let's go back into James. Okay. Let's do our normal Linux enumeration. So history, it's just mine. Sudo tac L. And here's where we hit pay dirt on step 2. Now, I wasn't real familiar with this binary knife, but apparently it has something to do with the CMS or PHP that's running on this machine. So what I did was I just ran the command. I think you could just run knife and then help. And I noticed there's a lot of commands that come back. And I looked through all of these, okay? But there was one that immediately stuck out to me. And let's see if I can find it here. Right here, execute commands. So you can run knife and then execute a script. Now, before I got smart, I tried to just do a shell script, and that didn't work. What I ended up doing was looking up knife, and it's this Progress Chef, I guess the software that's running on this machine. And this knife execute enables you to run scripts. But here's the key. You can execute Ruby scripts in the context of a fully configured Chef infra client. I don't even know what this Chef infra client or Progress Chef, I don't know what any of this is. I didn't really waste too much time researching it. The only thing that I did was I looked at the directories on the machine. I saw it was this Chef IO, and I just searched for Chef io.io knife space execute. And the first link was this man page, if you will, for this command. So my next mission was to figure out, and I've used this Ruby script before, was to get a Ruby reverse shell script. And there's this GitHub gist, and it's this green tooth, I guess it is. He has this root rshell.ruby, and it's super simple, but it works really great. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this raw, and then we're just going to copy it. Oops. Copy. We're going to open a new terminal, and we're going to nano, and I think I just called it shell.ruby. I actually like this so much, I saved a copy on my machine already, but I just wanted to show you guys how to do this. So we open up nano shell.ruby, we paste in the code, And then before we close out of here, we obviously have to make some changes here. We want to use port 80, and you're going to want to put your IP address in here. So this is going to be 10.10.15.35 for me. Okay, so we're going to Control O to save, Control X to exit, and we're going to do an ls, and there's shell.ruby. So just so you know that this is a Ruby script, you can see shell.ruby right here. So now we need to get this over to the foothold machine. So we're going to do Python 3 module HTTP server on 80. And then we're going to come back to our foothold, hit enter, and I'm going to do a wget HTTP 10.10.15.35 shell.rb ls. It's there, so we want to do chmod plus x shell.rb lsail. Shell RB is there, it's executable, we should be good to go. So now we want to come back to our web server, we want to kill that, and we want to start another netcat listener on 80. All right, come back to our foothold, and we'll just run that sudo tacl again. And then the way that this is going to work is we're basically just going to type sudo, we're going to have this command, and we're just going to use that execute argument, and we're going to feed it the Ruby script that we just put in this directory. And let me get rid of that. I got 2 sudos in there. Paste clipboard. So sudo, we're just running the command that he can run, which is user knife bin, and then we're using the sub command, I guess you would call it, execute, and we're running that execute command on shell.rb. If you remember, if we looked at the man page, it said we can execute Ruby scripts using this right here. Okay, so here's an example using an API, but you can also run Ruby scripts doing the same command. There's our listener. We're going to go back to our foothold. We're going to hit enter. It's hung, which is a good sign. And we have a root shell. So now we're going to, let's see if we can do bin bash I, just to get a quickie shell. Yep, there we go. So now if we cd root, do an ls, there's root.txt, so we'll cat root.txt. And there's the flag. So overall, this machine was pretty easy. I was pretty proud of myself doing the research on this knife binary. I had no idea what that was when I originally saw that command. But after some quick research, it was very simple to determine that I was going to be able to take advantage of that using a simple Ruby reverse shell. So the way we took advantage of this machine, I did a ton of enumeration that you did not see here, okay? But eventually, upon examining Wappalyzer, saw that Python 8.1.0 was running. We went to searchsploit. There was a remote code execution for Python, PHP. I'm sorry if I said Python. PHP 8.1.0. We downloaded the exploit. We ran the exploit. We got a kind of a janky shell. We used busybox to get a better shell. And we ended up with a shell as James, got the local the user.txt, did our normal Linux enumeration, and on step 2 saw that James could run sudo no password user bin knife. Not knowing what knife was, we did a bit of research, and we found that knife is for this chef IO program that's on the machine. And it has a subcommand of execute, which allows it to execute not only API calls, but Ruby scripts as well. So found a gist Ruby script on GitHub, downloaded and modified that, got it over to the machine, ran the knife command using sudo no password, and got a root shell and was able to cat the flag. So I thought this machine was interesting and fairly easy. So kudos to me and to Hack the Box. Sometimes Hack the Box's machines get so convoluted, it's crazy. So I hope this video was useful. I hope you learned something. All the links will be in the description below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you just want to say hi or even just let me know somebody's watching these, drop a comment below. That would be great. I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.